Okay, we have all been there. You have a deal that feels like a total sure thing. I mean, you can practically taste the commission check, and then poof, nothing. The customer just ghosts you. So today we're going to break down the 3 super subtle but absolutely devastating mistakes that can make a sale you thought was in the bag just vanish into thin air. It's the one question that keeps every single salesperson up at night, right? You had a fantastic conversation. The product is a perfect fit. So what in the world went wrong? You followed the script, you hit all your talking points, but the deal just died on the vine. Well, the problem isn't always what you think it is. You see, the answer often has nothing to do with your product or even your price. It all comes down to your approach. There are 3 of these, fundamental errors that can completely sabotage your efforts without you even knowing it. Let's dig into the first one. So first up is a classic trap, being the eager rabbit. This is where your excitement, your sheer enthusiasm to close the deal, actually starts working against you. I know, it sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? I mean, shouldn't you be passionate? Of course. But there is a very fine line between passion and, well, panic. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the panicked rabbit. This approach makes the customer feel pressured, almost like you're desperate. And what does desperation do? It creates suspicion. But on the right, you see the calm professional. They're projecting confidence, control. They make the customer feel secure, not cornered. Your goal is to be a steady, trusted guide, not some frantic salesman just chasing a quota. And this right here just captures that feeling perfectly. Imagine this. You agree to buy something, and the salesperson literally high-fives their coworker and does a little victory dance. What's your first thought? It's probably going to be, hold on, am I their only customer this month? Did I just overpay for this? That little celebration completely shatters the professional image and plants a massive seed of doubt. The big takeaway here is maintain your composure. Your professionalism is actually part of what they're buying into. All right, mistake number 2, the loudspeaker. This one is just as common, and oh boy, we've all met this person. These are the salespeople who truly believe that the more they talk, the more they sell. They've got a script, and they are going to get through every single word of it, no matter what. But in doing that, they miss everything that actually matters. The organ for closing a sale is the ear, not the mouth. I absolutely love this quote. Just let that sink in for a second. Sales isn't a monologue, it's a diagnostic process. You can't possibly solve a customer's problem if you never stop talking long enough to hear what it is. Your most powerful tool isn't your pitch, it's your ability to hear what's not even being said. And here's the difference in action. The salesperson on the left, they're like a fire hose of information, just completely overwhelming the customer. This leads to confusion, frustration, a big no. But the one on the right, they're an active listener. They ask smart questions. They might even paraphrase what the customer says just to confirm they understand. They make the customer feel heard. They aren't just waiting for their turn to talk. They are genuinely trying to diagnose the problem so they can offer the right solution. And here is why listening is so critical. Every sales conversation really only has 3 simple goals. First, you have to build trust. Then you need to create a genuine want for your solution. And finally, you establish a sense of urgency. If you're just talking nonstop, you're not doing any of these. You're just making noise. And that brings us to our third and final mistake, the magician. This is the salesperson who relies on a dusty old bag of manipulative sales tricks that they think are super clever. The problem? Well, the audience has seen all these tricks 100 times before. The most important thing to remember is this. We live in an age of information. Your customer has probably watched YouTube videos. They've read articles on the exact sales tactics you're trying to use on them. So when you use some obvious closing technique or a canned line, they don't see a genius at work. Nope. They see a gimmick, and any trust you might have built just evaporates instantly. The choice here is pretty fundamental, isn't it? Are you a slick salesperson trying to pull a fast one, or are you a sincere consultant who is genuinely there to help? The moment a customer feels like you're trying to handle them with some kind of trick, you've already lost. The consultant, on the other hand, wins by building a real, authentic partnership. So this is the alternative, adopting the consultant mindset, and it changes everything. Your focus shifts away from how can I close this deal, and it moves to how can I actually solve this person's problem. Sincerity becomes your greatest tool, because when you genuinely want to help somebody, you don't need tricks. All right, so what does this all mean? What's the big takeaway? The key to closing more deals isn't about learning more tricks or talking faster. It's about a fundamental transformation in your whole approach. It's about moving from being a transactional salesperson to becoming a trusted partner. So let's just recap that journey real quick. You need to shift from being the eager rabbit to becoming the calm professional, projecting confidence instead of desperation. You've got to move from being the loudspeaker to the active listener, using your ears way more than your mouth. And finally, you transform from the cheesy magician into a sincere consultant, choosing authenticity over tricks every single time. So, I guess this is the question to leave with. When a customer interacts with you, who do they actually meet? Is it the rabbit, the loudspeaker, and the magician, or is it the professional, the listener, and the consultant? The answer to that question will ultimately determine whether you close the deal or lose it.